and that the aide on their way out happened to grab the certificate. One, two,
Here.
5, 6, 7.
Yep,
We're out
right
here. Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's January 6th, 2021, our first meeting of the new year. And as always, with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and justice for all. And Madam Chair, I have to find the remote meeting. We don't have a quorum present.
Okay. The town manager just needs to read a statement before we get started.
Apologize. Okay. The chair of the town council, due to the COVID-19 coronavirus crisis and in accordance with the Governor Sununu's emergency order number 12 pursuant to executive order 2020-04, has determined that the town council is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location. There is a physical location to listen to, observe, and to listen contemporaneously to the meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that A, we're providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We're utilizing the Zoom platform for this electronic meeting. All members of the council have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during the meeting through the Zoom platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing the following phone number: 1-646-558-8656 with the access code 911-702-5727, or by clicking on the following web address: www.newmarket.nh.gov. It is also being streamed live on the town website and channel. We are providing public notice of necessary information for access to the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of how to access the meeting using Zoom, and instructions are provided on the Town of Newmarket's website at www.newmarket.nh.gov. And we're providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anyone has a problem, please call 603-659-3617, extension 1321. And we'll be adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event that the public is unable to access the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and have it rescheduled. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call. Madam Chair, if you could call the roll and ask those members not in attendance if they are alone in their room.
I will do that. Councillor Burns.
I am present and alone.
Thank you. Counselor Sanders.
Am present and alone.
Counselor Braybeck.
I'm present and alone.
Counselor Blackstone.
Present and alone.
And Counselor Kuiper.
Present and alone.
Thank you.
We'd just like to remind counselors who aren't present to mute their Zooms during the meeting, and also to request to speak. On top of your packet, your electronic agenda, there's a request to speak button, and the chair will recognize you.
Thank you. So we'll move on with our agenda. The first item is public forum. Sorry, let me just. And is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak this evening? I am seeing none. So I will close the public forum at 7:05. The next item that we have is for the town council to accept the minutes, and we have minutes from December 16th, our regular meeting minutes, and I would accept a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting on December 16th, 2020.
I'll second that motion.
Are there any questions or changes, corrections? I am seeing none, so if you could call the roll, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Tim?
They can't hear you.
Tim?
Wendy, they can't hear us.
Try it again.
Councilor Blackstone,
Aye.
Councilor Braybeck,
Aye.
Councilor Kuiper,
Aye.
Councilor Burns,
Aye.
Councilor Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. And next we have the town manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a COVID-19 update. As of January 5th, we have 36 cases, active cases, or 0.3% of the population. And we've had 279 cumulative cases since the beginning of the pandemic, or 3% of the town's population. Over the last 14 days, we've had 69 cumulative cases, and 4,414 PCR tests have been issued, and people have been tested. Well, 47% of the town's population has been tested. Of the 279 cases that we've had, 37 are associated with an institutional, usually senior care setting. I did want to give an update on the vaccination as well. When I was writing my report last time on December 16th, no vaccine had yet to be approved when I was writing it. As of this writing, many of the first responding emergency response teams had received their first inoculation of the vaccine. For fire, 74% of the department has been, and 63% of the police department have received or are scheduled for their first inoculation. With that being said, we have received the phase plan on how people will be getting their vaccination. First, I've been getting some emails or phone calls requesting a vaccination from the town. We are not distributing the vaccination at this point in time. That's going to be determined by the state. My suggestion would be calling your healthcare provider to determine what's the best phase. As of yesterday, the new phases are the Phase 1A, which is about 100,000 people. They're high-risk health workers, first responders, and older adults living in residential care settings. Phase 1B, which should be starting shortly, is of 225,000 people in the state. They're people over the age of 75, the medically vulnerable at significantly higher risk, where two or more of the same conditions, and family caregivers, or those who are medically vulnerable persons under 16 years old are not eligible for the vaccine. Phase 1B also includes residents and staffs of residential facilities for persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities, correction officers and staff working in correctional facilities, and first responders and health workers not already vaccinated. This should be completed between December and March. Phase 2, which should be March and May. The first 175,000 people in Phase 2A are people between the ages of 65 and 74, and K through 12 school and child care staff. Phase 2B, which is 200,000 people, people between the ages of 50 and 65 years old. And as of right now, after May would begin phase 3, which is the first phase of 3A is 325,000 people, which are medically vulnerable people under the age of 50 at moderately higher risk and one or more of conditions that the DHHS has put out. And phase 3B is 325,000 people, everyone else who hasn't already been vaccinated. This is estimated on the vaccine doses allocated to the state of New Hampshire from the federal government and vaccine uptake. So it could go faster if more vaccines are approved, or this is being done quicker, or more is being made. But again, my suggestion is contact your healthcare provider when that time comes. We are working with our local public health network to begin rolling out phase 1B and educating those included in that group with the ability to get the vaccine. They're contacting the Newmarket Senior Center to help with that information. On the agenda this evening is a resolution asking to approve using the one-time optional town meeting. I am asking the council to suspend the rules to act their rules this evening to act on this. The following are the guidelines. Basically, the town council would, instead of having a deliberative session, will be holding 2 live virtual meetings to inform the voters about the proposed optional meeting procedures and discuss warrant articles and finalize the content. The first meeting would be held on January 27th at 7 p.m. and residents may watch on local channel 13 or via Zoom. And during the first section, the town council will review the warrant and explain the articles. There is no comment from the public during this. It's just council discussion. After the session, the public may comment by emailing townmeeting@newmarketnh.gov, by sending us mail, by calling us on the telephone at 659-3617, extension 1301, and they can also drop off comments at Town Hall. Before this, all of these rules are going to be mailed to every registered voter in the town. That's why we're asking you to suspend the rules so we can get the information out. So after we receive all comments must include their name and address, and comments must be submitted by February 2nd at noon. The second meeting would be held on February 2nd at 7 p.m. Residents, again, may watch on local channel 13 or via Zoom. At this time, the council will review all comments submitted and deliberate any changes suggested by these comments. The council will then finalize the warrant. On March 9th, the town will hold its regular municipal election here at Town Hall from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We encourage those who do not feel safe voting in person to file for an absentee ballot from the town clerk as soon as possible. You may call the office at 603-659-3617, extension 4070. Please use disability as the reason for requesting an absentee ballot. In addition, we'll be reserving parking spaces for drive-through voting at Town Hall. This will allow people to come to Town Hall, call, and someone will bring out a ballot to all the people to vote in the safety of their own vehicle. After the election of officers and a bond issue that we have, the first question would be to see if the voters approve the optional town meeting procedures. If this question does not approve, then except for the election of officers, all other questions will not pass. I've been working with the superintendent of schools to have this done for both entities so we're not mixing. The only reason why we need to do this is we want to make sure we can hold, we don't feel we have a place that we could hold deliberative session to continue with social distancing. Some communities are having them, but requiring mask wearing the entire meeting. The only issue there would be if somebody doesn't want to wear the mask, what do we do? They have a deliberative session. So therein lies the issue. This is a one-time bill that sunsets in, I believe, September, that the legislature passed last year. Just a reminder that we're going to have a special town council public hearing on January 19th for the new road bond, and this is going to be virtually at 7 p.m. And just an update, we have been moving forward with the hiring of a new facilities director. We interviewed 5 individuals this week, and we should have more information shortly on the final candidate. Finally, in some return of normalcy, we have begun meeting with local sports to have the return of the Great Bay Half Marathon and 5K in April. It'll look very different with staggered start times, but we hope we'll be able to work together to have this event return. One other item that we have, that if Main Street's going to be closed for this event, that we could encourage businesses to have socially distanced outdoor dining for that one day to help them after a long winter. And that is all I have tonight, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Counselor Dumont.
Actually, you can answer that. Steve would answer the question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for the town manager? I am seeing none, but I have a couple. And I know that we're going to discuss this when we talk about the resolution, but it says please use disability as a reason for requesting an absentee ballot, and I know that was changed with the last election. You were able to, there was a
It was
checkbox
just
for
for the
COVID.
general election.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify
Yeah.
that. And then the other question that I had was, with the coordination with the school district, do we have to duplicate the mailing? Like, how does that work?
We're asking them to get it done quickly so we could try to save money by having the same using the same mailing. If they have different rules than we do, but they shouldn't have different rules.
Okay.
But we have to send out 2 sets of rules
Oh, okay.
because they're going to
Different
have their
rules.
own meeting.
Oh, I see
We have
what you
our
mean.
own meeting, but if we could do it in one
In one mailing.
mailing, that would be cheaper.
And does the cost come to us for this, or will we be reimbursed from the state?
We are not.
Other-
There is no money for reimbursement for town meetings.
Okay. And I think I had one other question, but I don't remember. I didn't write it down. That's all I have. Counselor Dumont.
I did have another one that just popped up. Steve, you had mentioned drive-through voting. Somebody calls in and says, hey, I'm outside my car, I'd like to cast a ballot. How is that going to look in terms of validating that they're on the list and everything? Are you going to have a station outside that somebody can verify? Or are you going to have them run up with
They're going to have to run up and do it.
Okay.
We're not anticipating a lot of those, so
Fair enough.
yeah.
Great. Okay, moving on. Committee reports. Are there any committee reports since we last met? Counselor Dumont.
The Budget Committee met on Monday and unanimously accepted the school board's budget to recommend going forth to the voters. There were a few questions that they had for the town manager. Those have been emailed off, and we should be good. I don't believe we're meeting next Monday. There should be one coming up, I believe, towards the end of January, though.
Okay. I'm not seeing any others. The Energy and Environment Committee met last night, actually, and the bulk of the work is that the committee is working on a resolution to suggest to the town council and suggest that we pass that would commit Newmarket to renewable sources, and that would be for the town, renewable sources of energy, of electricity by 2030 and fuel by 2050, and that would be for the town, municipality, residential, and businesses. So we'll be seeing that probably in the next month or so, once they get that finalized. And that's all I had. I'm not seeing any other committee reports, so moving on. We have 2 resolutions in the second reading, and the first is Resolution 2021-20, and that's the increasing the elderly exemption, and I would accept a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-20, increasing the elderly exemption.
I'll second that.
Please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. just for background, state law allows municipalities to provide people over the age of 65 an exemption on the value of their properties if they qualify by having income and assets, excluding the value of their home and 2 acres, below a certain level. Typically, during revaluation years, we review these limits. I think right after we did the revaluation, we got hit with the pandemic, and this got delayed. In Newmarket, the current levels are, if you're between the age of 65 and 74, the exemption amounts to $100,000 off your property. Your income can't be higher than $35,000 if you're single, and your asset limits cannot be higher than $150,000 if you're single. If you're between the ages of 75 and 79, they exempt $125,000. Married, the income level is $50,000, and asset limits is $150,000 married as well. In 80 or plus, they take out the income and asset limits. You're allowed to have a $150,000 exemption from the value of your property. Currently, we have 19 individuals receiving the exemption between 65 and 74, 11 between 75 and 79, and 21 over the age of 80. The impacts of the tax evaluation of the town is reducing $425,000. This requires an additional $163,580 to be made up by other taxpayers, for about 17 cents on the overall tax bill. We did a comparison on other communities and make a recommendation to change some of the amounts. We were recommending that the exemption be increased to the following. $125,000 for 65 to 74, $75,000 to 79,000, $150,000, 75 to 79, $150,000, and 80 plus $175,000. For income limits, we're comparative to the other surrounding communities. We're not recommended increasing it at this time. We're slightly lower on our asset limits. To qualify for the exemption, you must also have assets less than $150,000. We could increase this to $175,000. We do not know the impact since we only have asset records on those who currently qualify. We'd have to wait to see the number of people who now qualify to see the impact. By increasing the exemption to these levels would increase the amount to be exempted the valuation from $6.4 million to $7.7 million. Currently, we make up $163,508 in taxes. We would actually have to make up now $196.42 for additional $32,000. This would be again spread around other taxpayers. If we were to increase the exemption amount, a person over the age of 80 with a $350,000 home would see their tax bill go from $5,092 to $4,455, or savings of $636 annually. But I do recommend changing the exemption limits.
Okay. Councillor Dumont.
I just had a quick question, Steve. I'm hoping you can help me understand this. When somebody meets this tax exemption that we offer, does that also apply towards when they get billed for the school tax side of things?
It is. It's the entire bill.
Okay, so it's everything.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I'm seeing none. I'm just going to, I think that it's important that we review this on a regular basis. And, it's not as high as some of the other communities, but I think that it's what we are able to do at this point. And I think it's important that we pass it. So I'm seeing no other comments. So if you would call the roll, please.
Counselor Dumont? Counselor Sanders?
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone? Counselor Blackstone?
Aye.
Counselor Braybeck?
Aye.
Counselor Kuiper?
Aye.
Counselor Burns?
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
And the next item that we have is Resolution 2020-2021-23, approval of the fiscal year 2022 default budget.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2020-2021-23, approval of the fiscal year 2022 default budget.
I'll accept that. Second that. I'm sorry.
We're all that.
Town manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Pursuant to state law, the town council has to provide a default budget in case a proposed budget does not pass at the town meeting. The Director of Finance Administration and I prepared the default budget. If the budget were to fail, we'd have to reduce the proposed budget by $236,852. However, this would still be an increase of $259,412 over the previous obligations, and we recommend passage of this resolution.
Are there any questions or comments for the town manager? Seeing none, if you could call the roll, please.
Counselor Dumont,
Aye.
Counselor Sanders,
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone,
You're muted, Councilor Blackstone.
Aye.
Counselor Braybeck,
Aye.
Counselor Kuiper,
Aye.
Counselor Burns,
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Next, we have some nominations and appointments to consider, and we have 3 tonight. The first is for Warren Bash to be on the parking committee with a term to expire December 2023. And I would accept a motion to approve that application.
I'll make a motion to approve the application for Warren Bash for the parking committee with a term expiring December 2023.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, if you could call the roll, please.
Counselor Dumont,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone,
Aye.
Counselor Braybeck,
Aye.
Counselor Kuiper,
Aye.
Counselor Burns,
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
The next is for William Barr. And that is also to serve on the parking committee with a 3-year term, so I'm assuming December 2023.
Is he
Okay.
doing this from Washington, D.C.?
I saw that name and I first thought maybe it was a typo, but
I will make a motion for William Barr for the position as a member of the parking committee for a 3-year term expiring December 2023.
I'll second that.
any questions or comments? Seeing none, if you could call the roll, please.
Counselor Dumont,
Aye.
Counselor Sanders,
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone,
Aye.
Counselor Braybeck,
Aye.
Counselor Kuiper,
Aye.
Counselor Burns,
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
And then lastly, we have Melissa Brogel, who is applying for an alternate position on the Conservation Commission with a term to expire April 2023, and I would accept a motion to approve that application.
I will make a motion to approve Melissa Brogel for an alternate position on the Conservation Commission with the term expiring April of 2023.
I will second that.
And I by no means wish to put you on the spot, but I did notice that Melissa is present with us, and so I don't know if you want to say anything. I'll give you that opportunity now.
Just thank you for looking my application over. I've been looking for an opening on the Conservation Commission for a while, and the alternate popped up, so I thought I would give it a shot. I've lived in Newmarket for about 7 years, and I live right downtown, and I'm just looking to get more involved other than just hiking the Conservation Commission property. So I'm excited,
That's fantastic.
and I'm willing to answer questions too if anybody has any questions. Sorry.
Oh, great. They do a lot of good work on the Conservation Commission, so I really appreciate you putting your name in and getting involved. So, did anyone have any questions for Melissa? I am seeing none and no other comments. So again, thank you, and if you could call the roll, please.
Aye.
Counselor Sanders,
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone,
Aye.
Counselor Braybeck,
Aye.
Counselor Kuiper,
Aye.
Counselor Burns,
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Okay, so then we have resolutions in the first reading. We have 3 this evening, and the first is Resolution 2020-2021-25. It's a resolution relating to authorizing the town manager to enter into an agreement for audit services for fiscal years 2021 through 2023 with 3 one-year options. Whereas the town of Newmarket solicited for bid proposals for audit services, and whereas 3 qualified firms submitted proposals, and whereas after evaluating the proposals and acquiring answers to follow-up questions, the Director of Finance and Administration recommends the proposals submitted by Plotzik and Sanderson, PA. Now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that it approves the town manager to enter into an agreement with Plotzik and Sanderson, PA. First reading January 6th, 2021. The next item, I was really excited to see this one, on our agenda is Resolution 2020-2021-26, Splash Pad and Restroom Facility Installation and Build on Leo Landroche Field. Whereas the Recreation Department seeks the town to authorize proceeding with the Splash Pad project to be built at Leo Landroche Field, proposed by New England Recreation Group of 203 Southwest Cutoff, Northborough, Mass, in the amount of $231,612. Whereas the Recreation Department seeks the town to authorize to proceed earmarking the remaining budgeted balance of $128,502 to complete the restroom facility and all costs associated with this portion of the project to be done in-house, acting as general contractor. Whereas the Recreation Department is requesting $305,396 from their rec fund balance of $542,532. Whereas the Recreation Department is requesting $35,772 from their capital reserve balance of $205,823. Whereas the Recreation Department is requesting $17,035 from their impact fee balance of $29,593. Whereas the Recreation Department is now seeking to withdraw a total of $360,114 from those recreation accounts in the amounts listed above in order to complete the splash pad and restroom facility project, which will then be reimbursed up to $199,407, which is a 50% match, from the total $398,814 grant budget from NHDNCR. What does that stand for?
Department of Natural Cultural.
Okay.
Used to be dread.
Upon receipts of all expenditures. Now therefore be it resolved that the Newmarket Town Council does hereby approve the withdrawal of funds not to exceed $360,114 from Newmarket Recreation Department's fund balance, capital reserve, and impact fees in said above amounts for the purpose of building the splash pad and public restroom facility on Leo Landroche Field, and the town to authorize the town manager to execute any contracts, change orders, and agreements associated with this project. Therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that was just extra. First reading January 6th, 2021. There's a lot of numbers in that one. And the next resolution that we have is Resolution 2020-2021-27, approving the optional town meeting guidelines for town meeting 2021. And I know that we did just discuss this, but where it's the first reading, I feel like I should read it in full. Whereas the COVID-19 pandemic continues to impact the town of Newmarket, and whereas due to distancing guidelines, the town council has determined it is not practical to hold a deliberative session in person, and whereas the New Hampshire legislature approved House Bill 1129, allowing for an optional town meeting for March 2021. Now therefore, let it be resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the Newmarket Town Council does approve the use of the optional town meeting guidelines as follows. 1. A copy of these rules will be sent to all registered voters of the town. 2. The Town Council will hold 2 informational sessions. 3. The first meeting will be held on January 27th at 7 p.m. Residents may watch on local channel 13 or via Zoom, and the web address, or by calling 1-646-558-8656, and the meeting ID number is also there. During the first session, the Town Council will review the warrant and explain the articles. After this session, the public may comment on the articles by email at townmeeting@newmarketnh.gov, mail town meeting comments at 186 Main Street, Newmarket, New Hampshire, or by phone 603-659-6317, extension 1301, and they may drop off comments at Town Hall in the drop box on the side of the building. All comments must include your name and address. Comments must be submitted by February 2nd at noon. Number 4, the second meeting will be held on February 2nd at 7 p.m. Residents may watch on local channel 13 or via Zoom, or by calling into the meeting. At this time, the Town Council will review all comments submitted and deliberate any changes suggested by these comments. The Council will then finalize the warrant. 5, on March 9, the town will hold its regular municipal election at Town Hall from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We would encourage those who do not feel safe voting in person to file for an absentee ballot from the town clerk as soon as possible. They may call that office at 603-659-6317, extension 4. Please use disability as the reason for requesting an absentee ballot. In addition, we will be reserving parking spaces for drive-through voting at Town Hall. This will allow people to come to Town Hall, call, and someone will bring out a ballot to all people to vote in the safety of their own vehicle. 6, after the election of officers and a bond issue, the first question will be to see if the voters approve of the optional town meeting procedures. If this question is not approved, then except for the election of officers, all other questions will not pass. First reading, January 6th, 2021.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
may I ask the council to suspend the rules to act on it this evening?
I would accept a motion to suspend the rules to act on this resolution.
I will make a motion to suspend the rules so that we can act on resolution 2021-27.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions or comments about the suspension of rules? Seeing none, if you could call the roll.
Counselor Dumont,
Aye.
Counselor Sanders,
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone,
Aye.
Counselor Braybeck,
Aye.
Counselor Kuiper,
Aye.
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
So I,
No, you,
Yeah. I'll accept a motion to approve resolution 2020-2021-27, approving the optional town meeting guidelines for town meeting 2021.
I will make a motion to approve resolution 2020-2021-27, approving optional town meeting guidelines for town meeting 2021.
I'll second that motion.
Uh,
Are there any questions or comments? Or did you want to talk? Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate what I said. This is not a. It's not something we want to do. It's not something that we look forward to. We just want to protect the safety of the residents. The problem is we're seeing the surge in the numbers now. We saw the surge after Thanksgiving. Now we're going to see another surge because of the Christmas holidays and the number of cases. We can't find a place that has enough room to have social distancing and allowing people to take their masks off. To the point where we were throwing out ideas before we knew this to renting the Whittemore Center to try to do something. Because we can't control the number of people who would want to attend a deliberative session. I mean, to be honest, since I've been here in 8 years, I think that the session may have attracted as many as 20 people who weren't employees, more likely than not, 2. But we have to be prepared in case we were to attract a large crowd for this. So that's the reason why we did this. This is a one-time deal. After this, we go back to normal SB2 procedures. I did work with since this is so new and everything is so fluid, the town attorney worked with the head of elections for the Attorney General's office, as well as the attorney for the Secretary of State's office, to come up with these guidelines to make sure we were following it correctly. And the other interesting thing is, I was trying to write the warrant. DRA is not giving any guidance on any of these, so we're flying kind of blind there. The next wrench is that we have to get the bond counsel on board, since we have a bond issue on this one. So we're having him talk to the town attorney to make sure to explain where we are with everything. So this has not been an easy task to go through, and this is where we are. And again, it's not something we wanted to do, but again, we're worried about the safety of the residents.
Are there any questions? I'm not seeing any. I would say that it's fairly straightforward, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's quite a process that we need to follow. My question, I'm curious if you know of other municipalities that will be following these guidelines.
I believe the town of Conway did it because they had a May town meeting. So they were after the pandemic. So they did it this way. They did a full drive-through election. They didn't even offer a chance for people to go inside. We determined, we're like, wait a minute, we proved that we could have an indoor election from the primary and the presidential, that we could do that, but they still have the requirement in the bill to have a drive-through option. That's why we're reserving 2 parking spaces. We got that cleared by the AG's and Secretary of State's office. Because at first we're like, oh, we just won't have the drive-through portion. And they said, no, you still have to have it, even though it's in the bill. They understand, but the problem is we need to get these things done quickly, and the legislature just got back into session today. So we don't know what bills are going to be trying to be passed between now and then, but we're running out of time. So
What happens if they change, if they do pass something that negates this? I mean, is that a possibility?
I don't believe so, because it's already in place while we were doing this. I think we'd have a great lawsuit if we did, but yeah, no, this is what we have on as the law on the books as we're doing this, so that would be the one that stands.
Are there any other questions? I am seeing none, so if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Dumont,
Aye.
Councilor Sanders,
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone,
Aye.
Councilor Braybeck,
Aye.
Councilor Kuiper,
Aye.
Councilor Burns,
Aye.
Councilor Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
I can't wait till everything goes back to normal.
Telling me.
The next is correspondence to the town council.
We have a
and
letter.
We have a letter. It's
Would you like
exciting.
me to read it?
Sure, if you
I've got it.
please.
December 22nd, 2020. Dear Chair Weinstein, please be advised that at the planning board meeting on December 8th, 2020, the board unanimously voted to send this letter to the town council, ask for its review and comment to rescind water and sewer impact fees to be replaced with water and sewer system development charges. This is based on the board's investigations and position that a change in methodology will provide much flexibility in dealing with the capital cost of water and sewer systems for those who seek to connect to the system. Upon discussing this change with Attorney John Radigan, it has been determined that in order to implement this change, there are a few changes to Section 32-2 238 of the zoning ordinance impact fees that are necessary. While the ordinance doesn't specify the 4 categories for which impact fees are to be charged, there are 2 paragraphs which specifically reference impact fees for water and sewer. See yellow highlighted section of the ordinance attached. Those references need to be deleted to avoid confusion in the future. The planning board will be holding a public hearing on those changes on January 2021 and will formally forward those zoning changes along with a recommendation to the town council in accordance with section 24, planning and development of the town's municipal code, section 24-1, zoning ordinance amendment procedures. Meanwhile, the town planner, Diane Hardy, will be working with Mr. Radigan and putting together an ordinance for the town council to make those changes to the zoning ordinance. However, rescinding the impact fee should take place at the same time the town council adopts a new system of water and sewer development charges, which would be in the realm of the town administration and the water and wastewater department to develop the town council's approval consistent with your usual water and sewer ordinances. Please feel free to contact Diane Hardy if you have any questions. Sincerely, Eric Boderman, Chairman, Newmarket Planning Board. I'm gonna forward this to Water and Sewer and have them begin working on the necessary changes so we don't go without system charges.
Right, because we want to make sure that we're doing that at the same time.
Right.
And they're gonna, if I remember right, so they're having the public hearing in January, as it said, and so it should be happening in February.
We can hold the ordinances. You don't need to act on it right away.
Oh, right, because they'll pass
They'll
it.
pass
and
it,
then,
send it
and
to
then
us.
send it to us.
We
and
can-
so we'll have it.
We'll have it. We can
Okay.
keep it in a drawer until we're ready.
Great. And was this for closing comments
No.
or no? Oh, okay.
On the
Please, Councilor Dumont.
Steve, I wanted to ask, when the town council had asked the planning board to look into the impact fees, did we ask just for the water and sewer systems, or did we ask for all of them?
All of them,
And they're only targeting these specifically?
as of right now. Yep.
Was there any explanation or elaboration as to why these 2 in particular and not the others?
I don't know.
There was, and I just don't recall exactly what it was.
Okay. I'm not complaining
structured
about these.
differently.
I was just curious.
Yeah, they're structured differently, and I just don't recall exactly
All right.
what the differences were.
All
But
right.
there is a reason why it was water and sewer, and then the school and recreation.
I'm very happy to see it. I was just curious to know if there was a, but thank you.
And then, are there any closing comments from the council? Councilor Kuiper.
I just want to quickly say that I'm thrilled to see that the splash pad is finally coming through. Of all the things that happened in 2020, I'm glad this one actually made it through. I'm also thrilled that there will be restrooms outside at the rec department. And I'm just, I think Amy Gagnon, I can never say that right. Giganti does a great job as a department director, and I feel like the cost of the town for this is very reasonable for what we're gonna have, and I'm thrilled she was able to get a matching grant. I think it's gonna be a real asset to the town, and I'm just thrilled to not have to bring my son to the porta potty at the rec department anymore.
So true. Any other comments? I will just say that, when we talk about the deliberative session and we talk about town elections, it means that filing period is coming up. So
4 seats of the council.
wow, yeah.
We had 2 resignations this year and 2 seats that are up.
It'll be 2 3-year terms, 2 2-year terms, correct?
I believe so,
Yeah.
yes.
Filing period is the 20th through the 28th, I believe.
The 20th through the 28th.
Yes.
So if there's anybody interested in, I know we have a couple people who are serving in 1-year terms, obviously, and then if there are people who are interested in serving in any of these, not just the town council, but we have, there are seats up on the planning board,
Would
and
you like me to read those?
oh sure, yes, if you have them.
We have 2
Please.
town councilors for 3-year terms each. 2 town councilors for each for 2-year terms, 3 municipal budget committee for 3-year terms, 2 municipal budget committee members for 2-year terms, and 1 municipal budget committee member for 1-year term.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 planning board members for 3-year terms, a town clerk tax collector for a 3-year term, and 1 trustee of the trust funds for 3-year term.
As well as, positions that are on the volunteer positions that we have. So, Councillor Dumont.
Yeah, I will say, as somebody who's been sitting on the budget committee for the past 3 years now, if you are looking for an entry-level way to get into town government and understand what we do and, where money is going, how to be impactful, budget committee is a good one to get a seat on. So.
Yeah. And if anyone has any questions, I will go ahead and speak for all of the counselors. I think you can reach out to any of the counselors and the town manager if you have any questions about any of the positions that are up, because town government doesn't work if people don't participate. So that's all I had, and so the next what does it say? Public hearing.
Yep.
Oh, right. So that's our next meeting is,
You have the public hearing on January 19th and the regular meeting on January 20th.
okay. Thank you. And that's it. So with no other comments, I will consider us adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Happy New Year.
Thank you.